If we flip quickly over to Miami's situation, they did this deal not only to acquire the improved ball handling, improved scoring of Rozier, it also saved them money, which is where I think a big component of this deal comes into play in terms of how they are winners in this deal. So they actually saved about $15 million in this deal when you're looking at their reduced tax payments. They dipped under the second apron, I believe, by making this deal. So for them, it made so much sense just saving all that money. So for them, they have these giant contracts on the books. That's what puts them into this apron territory. Jimmy at 45, Bam at 32, Tyler on his new extension, rookie extension at 27. Now Terry Rozier comes in, but 23 is a lot better than 29 for a 36, 37-year-old. So for them, it makes a lot more sense. And the Heat also created a $6.4 million trade exception. They already have multiple trade exceptions, so not sure if they're going to use that, but just wanted to point that out as well. They do have that asset on the table. So this is Miami's situation. You can see here the only expiring here is Haywood Highsmith. He's definitely due for a new contract. Everybody else is either non-guaranteed, fully guaranteed, or there's a player option here. And I would expect Caleb Martin to opt out and try to get a new deal. Remains to be seen what these other three guys will do. But Miami does have a lot of money on their books, and it makes a lot of sense for them to do this deal just so they can reduce the money that they are owed in taxes. If you can do that for a better player, I think that just makes sense every time.
As far as them saving money, I hope that wouldn't be the motivation behind the deal. Look, it's a great cherry on top for the owner, but you hope that they're doing this from a on-court perspective, which I truly think that they are. The fact that they save $15 million this year, good for them. But next year, and they do that by lowering their tax bill. They're over the tax by a certain amount, of course, lowering it by that $6 million and then multiplying that by the applicable tax rate. They're going to save around $15 million. And that's where you get that number. Right. When people are looking at it and they say, well, they're saving $6 million, roughly $6 million in team salary, it's because that gets multiplied by the tax rate. And that's why they're saving 50. Yes, they save money this year. But now, of course, Kyle Lowry was coming off their books next year. Now they have Rozier for next year. So it's an investment in they better make sure that this is right. And the reason that I say that, and I do like the move for Miami, simply because they needed to make a move. The only thing that it does is it takes away from any kind of big swing at any other type of player. And what I would imagine, and I have faith in with Miami and how they do things, because they always seem to make the right moves, is that just wasn't out there and available. And they don't see that happening. So they did the next best thing. Look, they're contenders every time that they're in the playoffs. And getting Rozier, now they're truly, again, contenders. And every team in the East should fear them now, if they didn't already. So when you are a contender, you make a move to make your team better. And that's what they did. The only fear I have is that, one, it eliminates any type of big swing this year or next season. And when you're looking at the first round picks that they're giving up now, it really hinders them as far as any future trades, as far as giving up first round picks, just because the Stepien rule is going to crush them. They can do the next available, but it's going to get trickier and trickier and less valuable because teams don't know when that pick is going to come now. Right. Because you just don't know when it's going to be able to convey. Yes, next year with the added salary, they're going to sit right in the middle, depending on where the salary cap lands, but pretty much right in the middle between the first apron and second apron, depending on all those player options. And when Caleb Martin opts out, they're probably going to be pushed to go over the second apron if they want to re-sign him back. So You better hope that they are truly contenders now with Rozier, because I don't think much can change outside of another trade next year. But again, they don't have a ton of draft capital to do that, right? So you just hope that this is the team that they can go forward with this year and next season.
I'm with you. They really need to make this work because they're kind of running into a situation where it's do or die. The Clippers are there now. The Suns are there. The Heat joined that club to where it's like, and the Bucks as well, I feel like, to a large extent. You make it work because there really isn't any avenue to upgrade after this. Mm-hmm. So it's like who you have, Damian Lillard going after Bradley Beal for the Suns, going after James Harden for the Clippers. They made those moves and they really kind of handcuffed themselves into making it work with what they have. So for the Heat, they firmly believe that, because you look at their numbers for next year and you don't see much space whatsoever. So they're probably going to lose Caleb Martin, unless they just want to go deep into that second apron, which I imagine they don't. They're right up against these boundaries here. So for next season, I mean, yeah, it's going to be tough. Uh, Cutting guys with non-guaranteed contracts is barely going to help anything, just because all the salary that's already committed to their top players. They really just have to make it work. That's the bottom line when you look at their money situation. So a lot of money committed there, but when you're a contender, that's the name of the game. You have to pay to play.